In the world of astrology, some signs have a subtle, almost invisible power to influence and control. Today on Horoscope Reads, we're uncovering the most manipulative zodiac signs, ranked from least to most. Prepare yourself because what you're about to discover may change the way you see your friends, partners, and even yourself. 12. Sagittarius. Too blunt to play games. Sagittarius is refreshingly honest, sometimes brutally so. They speak their mind with no filters, leaving no room for manipulation or hidden agendas. Their straightforwardness is almost disarming. People rarely suspect that there's a strategy behind their words because there usually isn't one. Sagittarians value truth and freedom above all else, which makes them terrible at the subtle psychological games other signs might play. They act with integrity, often too impulsive to think 2 steps ahead. However, their blunt honesty can sometimes create chaos without intention. They might hurt feelings or reveal secrets simply because they value transparency, not because they want to manipulate. This sign's leadership style is about inspiring through openness and vision, not scheming behind the scenes. While they can influence others through sheer charisma and optimism, they're unlikely to twist situations for personal gain. Sagittarius teaches us that sometimes the most disarming trait isn't charm or cunning. It's a fearless commitment to truth. They remind us that manipulation requires calculation, patience, and subtlety, all qualities they frankly lack. In the world of zodiac manipulators, Sagittarius sits at the bottom, not because they can't influence, but because their honesty makes them incapable of playing the long, hidden game. 11. Aries. Acts first, thinks later. Aries is bold, impulsive, and always ready to leap before looking. Their energy and drive push them into action, but subtle manipulation is rarely in their playbook. Aries reacts quickly to situations, often driven by instinct rather than strategy. They prefer to tackle challenges head-on rather than twist situations to their advantage behind the scenes. While their decisiveness can influence others, it comes from a place of confidence and leadership, not scheming. Aries may assert dominance or take charge, but they lack the patience and calculation needed to manipulate others effectively. They can inspire, lead, and even sway opinions with their enthusiasm, yet their approach is direct and transparent. Sometimes their impulsivity can unintentionally disrupt plans or step on toes, but it's rarely intentional. Aries doesn't play mind games, they play life openly. In the ranking of manipulative signs, their straightforward nature keeps them near the bottom, proving that influence doesn't always require cunning. Sometimes it's about bold action and fearless leadership. 10. Taurus. Stubborn? Yes. But manipulation requires flexibility. Taurus is known for their steadfastness and determination. Once they set their mind on something, they rarely waver. However, true manipulation requires adaptability and the ability to bend situations to one's will, qualities Taurus lacks. Their strength lies in persistence and loyalty, not subtle scheming. While a Taurus can influence through patience and slow persuasion, they do so openly, often showing their intentions clearly. They are reliable, consistent, and predictable, which makes it nearly impossible for them to orchestrate hidden maneuvers. They prefer building trust and stability rather than playing psychological games. Their stubborn nature can be mistaken for manipulation at times, especially when they refuse to budge, but it's really about principle rather than strategy. Taurus may influence outcomes, but only because others respect their consistency and determination, not because they've manipulated anyone behind the scenes. At number 10, Taurus reminds us that power doesn't always require cunning. Sometimes unwavering conviction is enough to leave an impact. 9. Virgo. They prefer fixing problems instead of twisting them for gain. Virgo is practical, analytical, and focused on solutions rather than schemes. They are problem solvers at heart, always looking to improve situations rather than manipulate them for personal benefit. Subtle psychological games are simply beneath them. Their intelligence is applied to understanding, analyzing, and correcting mistakes, not bending others to their will. Virgos influence through insight and reliability. They notice details others miss and offer guidance that can steer people in the right direction, but it's never about control or emotional manipulation. Their approach is methodical, honest, and transparent, which makes them respected but rarely feared as manipulators. While some may misinterpret Virgo's critical nature as strategic scheming, in reality, it stems from a desire for efficiency and order. Their aim is improvement, not personal gain. In the zodiac ranking of manipulation, Virgo sits comfortably in the lower half, showing that intelligence and influence do not always equate to manipulation. They often equate to wisdom. 8. Aquarius. Detached and logical. They influence but rarely manipulate emotionally. Aquarius is detached, rational, and highly intellectual. Their influence comes from ideas and vision rather than emotional control. They can guide, inspire, and even persuade, but emotional manipulation is foreign to them. Aquarians prefer to appeal to reason rather than play on feelings, making them strategic thinkers but not manipulators in the traditional sense. Their detachment allows them to see situations objectively. They understand human behavior, but they rarely use this knowledge for hidden agendas. Instead, they inspire change through logic, innovation, and a vision for the future. Others follow Aquarius because they respect their intelligence and originality, not because they're being subtly controlled. While they can be persuasive, it's through clarity of thought and unconventional ideas rather than subtle emotional pressure. Aquarius demonstrates that influence doesn't require manipulation. Sometimes, detachment, foresight, and reason are enough to lead and sway others. 7. Cancer. Emotional, and sometimes guilt trips without even realizing. Cancer is deeply emotional, sensitive, and nurturing. Their influence comes from empathy and care, but they can unintentionally manipulate through feelings. Often, they may guilt trip friends, family, or partners without realizing it, using their emotional intuition as a subtle form of persuasion. This isn't calculated, it's instinctive. Their natural ability to sense the moods of others gives them a quiet power. People tend to respond to Cancer's feelings, sometimes adjusting their behavior to comfort or appease them. This emotional pull can influence decisions, guide choices, and even create loyalty, but it rarely stems from a deliberate plan. While Cancer can unintentionally manipulate, their intent is rarely malicious. Their heart guides them more than strategy, and their empathy can lead to both positive guidance and unintentional control. In the ranking of manipulative signs, Cancer sits in the middle, reminding us that emotion can be a powerful tool, even when wielded unconsciously. 6. Pisces, masters of playing the victim card when it suits them. Pisces is sensitive, intuitive, and adaptable, but they have a unique talent for subtle emotional influence. When it serves their purpose, they can masterfully play the victim, drawing sympathy, attention, or assistance from others. This form of manipulation is more theatrical than calculated. It relies on empathy, perception, and timing, rather than overt scheming. Pisces' emotional intelligence allows them to read situations and respond in ways that evoke support or understanding. They know how to create scenarios where others feel compelled to help or protect them, turning circumstances to their advantage without appearing controlling. Despite their skill, Pisces often doesn't manipulate with malice. It's a defensive or reactive mechanism as much as a strategy. They blend charm, vulnerability, and intuition to guide outcomes subtly. In the zodiac ranking, Pisces stands in the upper middle range, showing that even gentle, compassionate signs can wield emotional influence with surprising effectiveness. 5. Libra. Sweet talkers who subtly twist situations in their favor. Libra has a natural charm and grace that makes people feel comfortable and understood. But behind that sweet demeanor lies a subtle ability to influence situations for their own benefit. They excel at diplomacy, weaving words and gestures in ways that guide outcomes without anyone noticing. Their manipulation isn't aggressive or harsh. It's refined, elegant, and almost imperceptible. Libras can balance perspectives, highlight certain options, and downplay others to steer decisions in their favor. People often follow them willingly because their approach feels fair, reasonable, and kind. This sign's mastery of conversation and social nuance allows them to subtly shift dynamics, creating scenarios where others feel like choices were theirs, even when Libra quietly directed the path. In the zodiac ranking, Libra sits just above the middle, reminding us that subtlety and charm can be more powerful than forceful control. 4. Leo. Their charisma makes people follow without questioning. Leo doesn't need to plot or plan to influence others. Their presence alone commands attention and respect. Charismatic, confident, and magnetic, they naturally draw people in. inspiring loyalty and admiration without trying to manipulate in the traditional sense. Their leadership comes from sheer personality. Leo's energy is compelling, and their ability to captivate an audience or a group creates influence effortlessly. People follow Leo not because they're coerced, but because they want to, because being part of Leo's world feels exciting, prestigious, and empowering. While their charm is powerful, it's rarely used for hidden agendas. Leo leads with visibility, enthusiasm, and authority, making manipulation almost unnecessary. In the ranking, Leo sits near the top, demonstrating that charisma itself can be a potent form of influence, sometimes more effective than calculated scheming. 3. Capricorn, strategic and patient. They move pieces like a chess master. Capricorn is the quintessential strategist of the zodiac. Patient, calculating, and highly disciplined, they approach situations like a chessboard, thinking several moves ahead. Their manipulation isn't emotional or impulsive. It's calculated, deliberate, and precise. They excel at planning long-term, identifying opportunities, and guiding people or situations to achieve their desired outcomes. Unlike impulsive signs, Capricorn waits for the right moment, ensuring every action aligns perfectly with their strategy. Their influence is subtle but incredibly effective. They make others feel like choices were theirs while quietly steering the outcome. Capricorns are masters at control through structure, authority, and foresight. They rarely need to display force or aggression. Their patience and precision do the work. In the zodiac ranking, Capricorn sits near the top, showing that careful planning and calculated moves can make one an exceptionally skilled manipulator. 2. Scorpio. Intense, secretive, and skilled at psychological control. Scorpio is the zodiac's master of psychological influence. Intense, secretive, and highly perceptive, they understand human motives and vulnerabilities better than most. They can subtly bend situations and people to their will, often without leaving a trace of manipulation. Their methods are not loud or obvious. Scorpio excels at emotional strategy, reading unspoken cues, and timing their actions perfectly. They know when to push, when to withdraw, and how to create scenarios where others act exactly as they intend. Their influence is magnetic and often irresistible. Scorpios use secrecy and subtlety as tools. They create loyalty, trust, or fear without overt confrontation. Their psychological mastery allows them to achieve goals that would elude other signs. In the zodiac ranking, Scorpio sits just below the top, demonstrating that control and influence are as much about perception and timing as about action. 1. Gemini, the ultimate puppeteer. Quick, clever, and unpredictable. Gemini is the zodiac's master manipulator. Quick-witted, adaptable, and endlessly clever, they can influence anyone without them even realizing it. Their mind works at lightning speed, calculating options, testing reactions, and shifting strategies in real time. Unpredictable and charming, Gemini can bend situations to their advantage effortlessly. They use conversation, information, and insight as tools, crafting outcomes that serve their goals while keeping their intentions hidden. Whether through persuasion, flattery, or subtle suggestion, Gemini makes others follow their lead without resistance. Their versatility makes them formidable. They adapt, improvise, and exploit opportunities with ease. Gemini reminds us that true manipulation isn't about force, it's about subtlety, intelligence, and timing. At the very top of the zodiac's manipulative hierarchy, they are the ultimate puppeteers, capable of bending even the strongest wills with their cleverness and charm. And there you have it, the zodiac signs ranked from least to most manipulative. From the blunt honesty of Sagittarius to the cunning genius of Gemini, each sign wields influence in its own unique way. Which sign do you think is the most manipulative in your life? Comment below and let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to Horoscope Reads, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for more revealing zodiac insights.